So Elena is asking, amazing question. How do you keep people interested in joining the community of practice meetings and engaged in the meetings? I am going to listen in to this one. This is very relevant indeed. Okay.
So, first thing I would do, don't call them meetings. As soon as you call a meeting, people have a mindset of how it will be. Meetings are very rarely positive, fun, interactive, a place to learn. You don't learn at a meeting, you normally get talked at for an hour and people switch off, check their emails. Call it like a community practice session or something, or activity, something that makes them go, this is different than what we normally do. So immediately their mindset's questioning, what will this be about? Okay. In terms of keeping people interested, you've got different types of people you consider to be a community member. So you could have active members, core members, so forth. So the people who are always running at the time, they'll have a very different engagement level to people who can only turn up every so often, for example. One thing that I would definitely recommend to do to find out if people might be disengaged or to drum up interest is do retrospectives for your community practice every so often, depending on the frequency you do them. So we do ours for 1 hour a fortnight, and we do retrospectives twice a year because we tried a bit more often than that, but we found they're actually so often we weren't getting enough time to implement the change.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Some people are like, we've only had like 3 sessions and it's another retro. And you're like, well, actually, yeah, we're doing them too quick. And you're not getting a chance to do the community practice, what it's about. But you can go, okay, if people are not interested, well, what's not interesting about it for them? Is it the topics? And it might be, if people aren't volunteering topics, people are just going with, well, here's a new tool, let's talk about it. But if it's only of interest to 3 people, is that the best use of the community's time? Or you go, I'd like to talk about this. If you're interested, get hold of me outside the session instead. And then if enough people do it, you might go, I've shown them this. Now let's do a session on it. It can also just help you, as I mentioned before, think about what's the purpose of your community practice. There's a book I've been reading. I've been reading a lot of books recently. So a guy called Simon Sinek, he's done an amazing TED Talk called Start With Why. And with that, you think about why your community exists, why, effectively, like, what's your dream, what's your ambition? Then think about how you apply that, and then what are you about? If you go, what we do is get all the testers together, and then what or how is we talk about testing for an hour and we don't know why we really do it, people aren't going to want to sacrifice their time from their projects or personal learning to attend this. Whereas if you go, I want to testers to be better than they are, I want us to learn from one another, I think that we're better as a group than we are as a collection of individuals. And so how I do this is getting an hour a fortnight for us all to come together, share experiences, ask questions, and learn from one another. Which sounds more appealing to people? What's going to make them more engaged, want to attend in the first place? Once you know why your community of practice exists, you can sell that to people. So yeah, those are my thoughts on that. Think about why you exist. Do retrospectives so you can make sure you're continuing with your why, as well as getting feedback from the community, rather than whoever the leadership are deciding this is what the community does or doesn't want, or how it should be applied. And finding out if people are disengaged, is it they're not that they're disengaged, but their workload is too high and they actually can't set aside their time to do this. Even an hour a fortnight isn't something they've got spare, or it clashes with their retrospectives or something like that. Well, actually, could we change the day or the time we do these sessions? I ended up alternating between Wednesdays and Fridays. So that way, if people have flexible working, different days off, when they hold retrospectives or things for their teams, they might not be able to do every session, but if they can do every other session, that's more than they were doing before. And suddenly you've increased attendance and getting more thoughts and ideas in there, which is improving your diversity as well.